What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the butt? Oh yeah. If you love a Reddit story, don't forget to hit that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And today we're jumping straight into it. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Phil Problems 309, titled, "Am I the arsehole for blowing up at my husband for sending his family a picture of our newborn? Me, female 27, and Phil, male 32, have been married for 3 years. We both have families who want to be the first in everything. Phil read me an article about boundaries and encouraged me to set boundaries for both families. I agreed and we made progress. As the birth of our son approached, we handled the family's requests. Both mums wanted to be in the room. We said no. Both dads wanted the first photo with the baby, but we said no till they agree. Both families wanted to be at the hospital to see our son, but we said no, then agreed to host a gathering on Tuesday where both families get to see our son at the same time for the first time. No pics, posts or video calls till then, since I needed to recover. Everything was going well. It started when Phil secretly took a picture of our son and sent it to his family. It blew up. Everyone tagged everyone on Facebook. Mum and family saw not only the picture but posts my in-law made saying we won in the end and our grandson chose us and 1-0. Mother-in-law lied about taking the picture of herself at the hospital. Mum called crying saying Phil leaked and shared pics of our son and violated the agreement both families had. Dad said that on top of the defeat, they had to deal with the propaganda and emotional stress from in-laws. I was fuming. I asked Phil if he sent his family a picture of our son hours ago. He said jokingly, yesn't. I blew up at him, saying we had an agreement and me and family respected it, but he and family on the other hand were humiliating my family, ruining their joy and rubbing the fact that they got to be the first to see our son in their face. He said, so what? My family should quit being overdramatic when shit don't go their way. I said his families are the ones with the overdramatic, passive-aggressive attitude. I showed him every post and tag they made and asked if he'd be happy if my family did this. He scrolled for a couple of minutes, nodding and looking impressed. He said all he did was innocently send Mum a picture since she couldn't stop calling, hassling and begging him for one picture. I said he violated our agreement to not share photos till Tuesday, and this way his family will never respect the boundaries we tried to set. I asked if those boundaries were just for my family to keep them at arm's length, while obviously favouring his. He said, that's my son. I have authority to send a picture of him to whomever I please, okay? Your family. The entire lot of them can either shut the entire fuck up and get over it or wait for your sister to miraculously give them a baby. We argued some more and I refused to drop it. He said I overreacted, blew his joy, and made a big deal out of it, just cause my family has nothing better to do than cry at woe is me, and wrapped up by saying I was clearly enmeshed, too deep in the fog and needed to cut the damn cord already. I'm thinking I might have been harsh. Am I the arsehole? Context, Phil doesn't have the best relationship with my family. He thinks they are controlling and tries to exclude them from events while letting his family get involved in everything. He's not always home due to the work at the local PD, police department, but he still controls what events my family should/shouldn't attend. Also, my sister is infertile. That way, Phil said miraculously, and that hurt me on her behalf. Now, this one to me just felt like petty all over, man. Why is a family arguing about this sort of stuff, about seeing the baby first, getting photos first? It's just, it's draining. I'm drained just reading that. And then to be going on social media and saying 1-0 and the grandson chose us and all this kind of thing. It's just so pathetic. But Daisy Inc. says, not the arsehole. For the record, I think both families, including you and your husband, making a competition out of baby milestones is really dumb. This is a child here, not a badminton tournament. And quotes, post my in-laws made saying, we won in the end and our grandson chose us and 1-0. This is so fucked up and shows they have no concept of your son as a human being. Domino says, maybe I'm doing petty revenge here, but if my husband acted like that, the first chance I'd get, I'd pack up some stuff and take my kid to my family for a few days and post pictures of them on Facebook. Let my kid meet my family, as I would not let my partner get away with talking to me like that. Edited to add, I thought I'd do an edit that I'm not encouraging OP to take and disappear with her baby forever. Can't believe I need to clarify this, but OP needs to sit down and think as toxic as it sounds. To all of us. I would also like to say I'd encourage anyone to take their child on a permanent basis if that child was in danger. Then I'd go to the woman's hostel, etc. Have you spoke to your husband about his controlling ways? Is your family controlling as your husband seems to think they are? Have they exhibited any worrying behaviour? Also, ignore any trolls. Danny Caps fan says and quotes, but he still controls what events my family should/shouldn't attend, then says yikes, and you had a child with this guy, what were you thinking? You had an agreement, Phil violated that agreement and his family went full on nasty acting as if they won because they got the photos first. Seriously, you married into a totally toxic, nasty family, and he's saying you need to cut the cord with your family, but he's tightening the cord with his. You blew his joy. Well, he destroyed yours and your family's joy at their grandson. It sounds as if the husband needs counselling, not the arsehole. Edit, maybe it was a mistake to suggest counselling, but I didn't want to immediately jump to divorce his ass. Maybe I should have. MPK says, not the arsehole, I am petty as fuck. There is a very simple fix for this. Have your parents come visit your son first. If he doesn't have to accept the boundaries you both agreed upon, neither do you. Also recognize that unfortunately you cannot trust your husband to honour any agreements you make regarding your child, and be wary moving forward. His family are arse-hats. Cam says, not the arsehole, he literally picked the moment you have needed him the most, one of your most vulnerable moments, and stabbed you in the back. Also the audacity of acting all bravado and trying to convince you you are in the wrong. Nah, he just showed you that his needs of pleasing mummy are way more important than his pregnant wife who literally just gave birth. But looking at his family reaction, honestly, what can one expect from that bloodline? Now, what do you guys make of our first story? What do you think OP should do? Incredibly petty one to get us started, but let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Tomoska87. Am I the arsehole for telling my brother he can't date my fiance's brother? I've 28 female, been with my fiance 28 female for 2.5 years total, but we started our relationship as childhood friends. My brother 31 male also knew her and her family as a child. Last week my brother told me that he and my fiance's brother, I call him John, have been together for 6 months and are thinking about moving in together. I told him no, it was totally inappropriate and awkward that he was dating my soon-to-be brother-in-law. He said that I was exaggerating and that he gets the right to be happy too, which I agreed with, but not with him. Apparently they fell in love in high school and only recently got together, which is bothersome to me. It feels creepy and weird to me, which he did not understand. We stopped talking about it and not returned to the conversation since, but I am still upset. My family thinks I should just let him have what he wants. My fiance agrees it's a little weird. My friends are mostly torn and Google hasn't given me any concrete answer. Am I the arsehole for telling my brother he can't date my fiance's brother? Now maybe I'm going to be wrong on this one, but I don't see anything really weird or creepy in it because they're not blood family or anything. And surely soon as you see that, you realize you should be just happy for your brother that he's found love in someone, you know. And that's pretty much it. And that's the only way I can see this one, so I'd be very interested if any of you guys have had a similar experience and if you have found it weird or anything like that. I really can't see it myself, but Fox Weird says, you're the arsehole, you don't get to decide who your brother dates. Kitties Lee says, you're the arsehole, how does it affect you if your brother dates your fiance's brother? Pale Cranberry replies to that saying, well, it does affect them theoretically if things don't work out. If they break up and it's messy, they can't make a completely clean break because of their siblings are married, and that can cause drama for OP and her fiance and husband. Vice versa if it's OP's whose relationship doesn't work out. It's a little weird and will be a big headache if either couple don't make it, but there's really nothing OP can do. If they break up, they know they'll still have to deal with each other. If OP breaks up, she'll still have to deal with her ex, and we'll have to consider it similar to not being able to break cleanly due to kids. She can't control her brother and future brother-in-law. And whilst I can get that point of it, you know, drama if things do go totally wrong, but I think the actual story was going down more of the actual, like from OP's point of view, my brother is with my brother-in-law. That's the way I've read it anyway. But Isabel says, you're the arsehole. If they fell in love in high school and just got together recently, then actually you started dating the sister of the man your brother was in love with. So I guess by your own logic, your brother is well within his rights to insist you stop seeing your fiancé. Or does that not work out for you? Capital says, you're the arsehole. How about you break up with your fiancé so your brother can be happy, then you won't be uncomfortable about your family tree situation. Win-win. Roguefan UK says you're the arsehole, assuming they are both legal adults and this is consensual. It's not for you to try and veto it, and you don't have any legal standing here. And one more from Mage who says, can you explain why you think it's creepy? OP replies, it feels too sweet home Alabama for me. If he marries my brother-in-law, our family tree is basically a wreath. I feel uncomfortable with that. And we'll leave that one on there. What do you guys make of this one? What do you think OP should be doing? Let me know your thoughts and we'll move on to another story. And our next story is from SNDNMK. Am I the arsehole for bringing something to the barbecue my co-worker's daughter is allergic to? My company has a yearly barbecue, and after skipping last year, I got like 7 requests for my mango tart. Every time I bring it gets eaten immediately, and everyone always mentions how much they like it, so I didn't want to disappoint. My co-worker sent a group email saying her daughter was allergic to mangoes and some other things. Not allergic to being around mangoes, just eating it. She never told anyone not to bring any, but to warn everyone of cross-contamination. I emailed back to ask if she was allergic to strawberries, and she said no, so I made mango tart and strawberry tart for her. I put the mango tart in a separate cooler and put it in the back so her child couldn't grab it. The co-worker and her daughter came and saw the strawberry tart, and she gave one to her daughter. But her daughter saw the huge number of people at the mango tart cooler and wanted one of those. She said, no, you're allergic, so it's bad for you, and her daughter started crying and throwing a tantrum. She took her back to their car and rejoined us later, once her daughter had calmed down. I got an email this morning of her proclaiming how insensitive I was for bringing mango tart when I knew her daughter couldn't have some, and making her feel like she wasn't included. I'm shocked because I made strawberry tart just for her daughter, and made precautions to make sure she wouldn't be exposed, but am I the arsehole for bringing mango tart? No, absolutely not. You were good enough to make this girl a strawberry tart for herself, which was absolutely amazing of you. And I'd love to be that mango tart, strawberry tart. Oh. And I don't understand the logic which this person is using right now. So imagine we got the title here, which says it's a barbecue. Imagine if she was allergic to, I don't know, meat. No meat allowed at the barbecue, guys. Just, you handled this situation awesomely. As I said at the very start, you made this person a strawberry tart just for themselves, and you took their feelings into consideration and didn't want them to be left out. There's no way you're the arsehole to me in this one. But send me a slice of that mango tart in the mail, please. The Ouroboros says that you literally made them an entire tart just for them. The child not being able to handle seeing other people eat some food is not your fault and 100% a parenting issue, not the arsehole. SR Nick says, you're not the arsehole, you did a very nice thing. How old is the child? OP replies saying, I'm not sure, maybe 6 or 7. She's in grad 2. Heather Ann says, not the arsehole, you went above and beyond by making a strawberry tart for her daughter. That's incredibly considerate. Your co-worker and her daughter should know how to navigate allergies, especially because it seems she has a number of common items she is allergic to. It's not your fault that the daughter threw a temper tantrum. Still, at the age of 6, I'm surprised she did, especially considering she likely has been in this very scenario multiple times due to her allergies. None of this is your fault. Sharp Building says, not the arsehole, you did everything right. Kids, well, anyone really, can't have everything, and it's important to learn that early on. And one more from Kells who says, not the arsehole, you made her daughter her own special tart, and you're insensitive. You went out your way to be accommodating and cautious of cross-contamination. You did nothing wrong, her daughter wasn't harmed, and sounds like her daughter throwing the tantrum is a result of her bad parenting. Now, what do you guys make of this one? I think OP is incredibly considerate in this situation, and I can't stop thinking about that mango tart. Let's move on before I drool everywhere. And our next post is from Murky Highway 9740. Am I the arsehole for telling my wife is embarrassing she gave our daughter's bus driver cookies? Some important details. My wife is very shy but enjoys giving and is all gung-ho about showing appreciation to workers she assumes aren't appreciated or recognized. She tries to pass these beliefs on to our kids. Because she's too silent to show her appreciation, she does it through gifts, usually baked goods. I've been embarrassed about it in the past. Our eldest rode the school bus for the first time. My wife was waiting at the stop with our daughter and had her hand the bus driver a bag of homemade cookies. Then when she was picked up from the stop in the afternoon, she gave a bag to the afternoon driver. I asked why she did that when she could have easily just said thank you and left it at that. She said the bus drivers work so hard, having to comfort all the nervous kids and handling the unbehaved one. While driving, they deserve more than a thanks. I reminded her that this has embarrassed me in the past, and I think her behaviours are too extreme. I wouldn't want gifts from someone I don't know. She ignored how I felt. I contacted some people in my life to see if I was just the crazy one here, and most of my friends and my mum agree. My wife's way of showing thanks just makes everyone uncomfortable. Am I the arsehole? Now, there's no way I'm ever going to call a really kind, considerate person who's thinking about other people, their jobs, and what they go through in their daily life. I'm never going to think of that person as an arsehole. There's no way you would ever convince me to do that. Your wife sounds like a wonderful person. Step back, take a look at yourself, and think, and take a look that you're bashing on your wife's fantastic qualities of having empathy with other people. You're 100% the arsehole to me in this story. And I'm going to have to change this first comment up because otherwise I can't do the voice. Well, I can't do the voice anyway, but I'm going to give it a bloody good go. A is for asshole. That's good enough for me. I can't do the rest of it. Cookie, cookie, cookie. Also, this isn't about you. Stop making it about you. And Redoubtable Self says, you're embarrassed by your wife giving out cookies as a thank you. That's a weird thing to get embarrassed about. Having a thoughtful, considerate, kind wife. You're the arsehole. Stella says you're the arsehole, even if I wouldn't eat a bag of cookies from a stranger. I would, by the way. I just know some people wouldn't. I would appreciate the gesture and realize they had gone out of their way to make me feel good. You're shaming your wife for having found a way to express herself despite her shyness. You're embarrassed by someone showing kindness. Wow. You're not just an arsehole. You're a dick, and so is your mum. Shy Fidelity says, info. You say her behaviour makes everyone uncomfortable, but it seems like it only makes you uncomfortable. What reactions has she gotten from the people she has thanked in this way that leads you to feel embarrassed? Not shocked to vote. You're the arsehole. Kidnap the Santa Claus says, a question. Do you think giving homemade baked goods makes you look poor? Because I can tell you that people pay well for my baked goods when they ask for something special. Saber says, you're the arsehole. You're embarrassing. And one more from Naya who says, you're the arsehole, you're definitely the arsehole. Your wife sounds like such a kind person. And if she wants to give the bus driver homemade cookies to show appreciation, that shows how good a person she is. I don't understand why you are so embarrassed that she is like this. I'd be grateful to be married to such a caring woman who looks out for other people. Now, what do you guys make of this story? I think the wife is incredible in this story. Having empathy for other people and appreciating them doing those jobs. I think it's absolutely amazing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Celebrities Eat Bread. Am I the arsehole for showing off my cat carrier at the vet? I really cannot believe this, but my family and friends are split pretty much 50-50. But I think more than half of them think I'm the arsehole, do so because they don't like cats. It's bothering me. I took one of my cats to the vet yesterday for his yearly checkup. My vet has relaxed restrictions, so it's no longer the text to get the cat from the car. We're now back sitting in the waiting room. He is a big cat but not overweight. Something in the mix of his genes created a large dude, 18.2 pounds. Due to his size, he doesn't fit in the carriers I have for my other cats, so I use an older carrier that was for my smallish dog. This carrier was used to transport my dog overseas, not in cargo, so it's TSA approved and nicer than the average carrier. Little more roomy, not plastic, lots of mesh for visibility, quite cozy. The poor thing had to sit in it for 8 hours. Of course we wanted him to be as comfortable as possible. But as I said, it's older, has scuff marks and shows normal wear and tear, so it's not like I was carrying a fresh out the sweatshop Prada handbag with a cat inside. There was another woman in the waiting room with her cat in a large plastic kennel sort of unit. The ones you can unlatch and separate the top from the bottom halves, easily twice the size of my carrier. I was focused on calming my cat down, so I wasn't really paying attention to her, but heard her coughing and clearing her throat repeatedly, so I asked if she was okay. She sort of scoffed and said I must be insecure if I have to show off at the vet's office. I didn't understand what she meant, so I shrugged. She, however, clarified, saying I should be ashamed to flaunt my wealth when others having such a hard time even finding homes. Again, I had no idea what she was talking about, so I said I'm not doing anything like that. She got upset and said I've clearly never worked a day in my life, so I wouldn't understand what it feels like to be a working mother, and watch some slur that's a bit dodgy to say on YouTube, bringing a designer cat carrier. I got pissed and said the carrier is 6 years old, a year older than the cat inside of it. And even if I didn't have the benefit of reusing something of high quality, I would have sure as shit managed to buy something more comfortable for my stressed out cat than a plastic bin she's got for hers. There wasn't even a towel inside for the poor cat to lay on. I may not be wealthy, but at least I give a shit about my pets. I got called back before she could reply. I know it was a low blow, but I was minding my own business when she got up in mine. Am I the arsehole? Now, I don't understand how people are 50-50 on this one. Someone harasses you when you go to the vet and starts giving you shit about something you're carrying a cat in, saying you're showing off your wealth. Then has the cheat call you that slur and tell her to shut her hole. But Lunatics and Gem says, and not the arsehole, your cat deserves to be comfortable and safe. She should mind her own business. Neighborhood Trolley says, this is hilarious. It's almost hard to imagine. Nobody flaunts wealth like that. Wealthy people don't flaunt wealth to poor people. They flaunt it to one another. I would love OP to post a link to the carrier so we can actually see what some person interpreted as a cat container so fabulous that it was embarrassing to be in the presence of. The other lady is an asshole because the right move to make. Ever in a situation where a rich person is showing off is to be and act unimpressed, not the asshole. To which OP then shares a picture of the cat carrier. And here it is. And I don't see why that's special in any way, but okay. Kelly as Ghost says, this entire thing is so ridiculous. Still not the arsehole though. Keg of Glory says, not the arsehole. This is the stupidest thing I've heard people getting such a snit over. I can't believe your family and friends are agreeing with her. Do they really expect you to buy a different carrier because your current one looks too nice? That's an absurd level of consumerism, to be honest. Pebble says, not the arsehole. In all honesty, I'd be more focused on my cat. Even if it was uber swish, the most I'd think was, ooh, that's posh. Then back to my kitty, who is currently baking biscuits, looking at me with so much love while stabbing me with their claws. She was more likely just as stressed with worrying over her cat and lashed out at the first opportunity she had. I bet she's cringing now. P.S. We need pet tax. And here we go. OP supplied. Now, what do you guys make of this one? How would you act if someone came up to you with these comments? Let me know your thoughts and we'll move on to another story. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for kicking my sister out of my house and exposing her to the whole family? My 26 female sister, 35 female, lost her home due to her husband gambling. They practically lost everything and were forced to eviction. Our parents had always preferred my sister way more. She's the perfect child, perfect husband, perfect house, perfect career. She's a doctor, and thus she came to me for help. She cried and begged to please let her stay here with me and to not tell anything to her parents until she was divorced. I did because I know how mean they can be. My boyfriend and I own a 2-bed apartment. The guest room that's rather small and our room that's a lot bigger and has an ensuite bathroom with bathtub. This is important. My boyfriend is currently staying with his parents in Texas, so I have the whole house to myself. We talked about it and we agreed to let my sister use the guest room and pay minimum rent for a few months. Everything was fine at first until a few weeks ago when we had some problems with the bathroom my sister uses and she had to use mine. When she found out I had a bathtub, she was thrilled. She said why I didn't say anything before, and I told her because it was my personal bathroom and I didn't have to. The problem got fixed in 2 days, but every once in a while she asked me to use the bathtub. I said yes a few times until she just stopped asking and began going into the bath every time she wanted. She then tried to leave her products in there until one day I found her sleeping in my bed. I woke her up and told her to get out, but she said that it wasn't fair that I had the better room with a better bath and everything. That she was a doctor and deserved the room way more, and the best thing was to move to the small room and let her have it. I was mad. I couldn't believe that she was in my house trying to rule me. I told her that this wasn't just my house but my boyfriend's too, and that she had to get her things and leave. She said I was overreacting, and I told her that yes, sure, but I know how these things usually are, and I don't plan to have it her way. She said she didn't have anywhere else to go, and I told her too bad. She had to come clean to my parents and is currently staying there. They are mad at me for kicking her out and forcing her to embarrass herself in front of them, and that I owe her my house for free as long as she wants. This world is a crazy place, isn't it? Just think. There's people out there just like this, so entitled they think they can come into your house, use your bed, use your bath, be entitled to the bigger room in your house because, you know, They're a doctor. She's 35, she's a doctor, she can afford her own place. Kick her ass out. Absolutely not the arsehole. Book of Law says, not the arsehole. You welcome your sibling into your home and just wanted basic decency, and she trampled all over your boundaries. She deserves what she gets, to be honest. Admirable says, a 35-year-old doctor can afford to stay on her own. What an entitled person. Stoke King says, not the arsehole. She broke the cardinal rule of sofa serving. Don't upset the host. Jump Over Glass replaced that, saying, damn Skippy, I had a friend that made very good money. But she was single, and because of her job paid so much money, they demanded a lot. I think she made like 150k right out of college. She was basically never home. She found some friends that were willing to let her couch surf. She went from house to house every other month. She cooked, cleaned, and helped out with childcare. No one let her pay a dime in rent because of all the extra help she was. One couple even took her on their family vacation because she was such a big help with the kids. She fucking loved it, and she never broke a boundary. Ned DeLeo says, not the arsehole, and lol at your sister. Did she really say, I deserve the better room because I'm a doctor and you're not? Or words to that effect. That's one for the Guinness World Records of entitlement. Imagine that, that'd be great. Summary says, and quotes, but she said that it wasn't fair that I had the better room with a better bath and everything, that she was a doctor and deserved the room way more, and the best thing was to move to the small room and let her have it. And then said, this sub is so bizarre. Where do these people come from? I have never in my life heard anybody talk that way that wasn't a wicked stepsister in a Disney movie. I mean, the people who post the stories like this have to know this is an insane thing to say, right? I mean, once you have written a story and made it so clearly obvious how comically entitled the other character is, what's the point of asking who the arsehole is? Half the posted here shouldn't be am I the arsehole, they should be a story about an arsehole. And that's kind of why I really enjoy them, to be fair. Drama. And one more from Comfortable Stop saying, not the arsehole, you were doing her a favour and she overstepped. I probably would have given her a few days notice, but she seemed incredibly entitled. As a doctor, unless they're garnishing a check for her hubby's debts, she should be able to afford at least something small for herself. Now, what do you make of this entitlement? It's obviously going to be a not the arsehole. We know that already. But how would you deal with it? How would you deal with a family member coming into your house and acting in that way? This isn't the first time we've heard of this level of entitlement, I'm sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, your verdicts on all of today's stories. If you do love a Reddit story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, maybe that notification bell too. And if you really want to help out, you can click that like button as well. A huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today, getting involved in the channel, and there's a playlist on the screen right now with more Am I the Arsehole posts. Get involved there, there's over 600 Am I the Arsehole and other stories involved as well, over 1,000 videos on this channel right as I speak. Get involved guys, much love and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.